What's up, everybody? Steve Barton here. Welcome to In It to Win It, and thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. As you can probably tell by the background here, we're talking about natural gas. We got this story hot off the press out of Reuters. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see the story. All right, Reuters. The EU, the European Union, countries agree gas price cap to contain energy crisis. All right, so what the EU is proposing here, European Union energy ministers on Monday agreed a gas price cap after weeks of talks on the emergency measure that has split opinion across the bloc as it seeks to tame the energy crisis. So another word for this is price controls, price fixing, price cap, call it whatever you want. Governments over time throughout history have tried this, and they do it during periods of inflation. The first instance that I know of was back in Roman times. It was around 300 AD. Diocletian, he tried to do the same thing. He called it his Edict of Prices. And essentially what had happened in that time was the Romans, they started out with real money, with real gold coins, and then they started clipping the coins, clipping little edges off of the coins to pay for things, essentially taxes. They would take those little clippings of gold coins, they would melt them back down, and they would introduce some copper or other worthless base metal in there, and it would no longer be 100% gold coin, it would be 90%. And then as time went on, 80. And they did the same thing with silver coins until what they were eventually what they were left with was a bunch of worthless copper coins, right? So when they had this radical inflation going on, Diocletian came out with his Edict of Prices, and he told people that you cannot charge more than this for a pound of chicken, and you cannot charge this for more than, this amount of work. And essentially what happened was the economy shut down because people could not make a profit anymore for, the stuff that they're producing. Fast forward, the last time that I'm aware of, at least in our country, in the USA, was in 1970. Nixon came out with the, what did they call it? The Economic Stabilization Act of 1970. All right, so what they did there was essentially the same thing. They had pretty gnarly inflation back in the 70s, like we're beginning to experience now. And they did the same thing. They called it price controls, or they make a fancy title like Economic Stabilization Act, right? And they say that you can't charge more for this. Well, the problem with that is as costs go up, you have a chicken farmer, okay? The price of his feed has gone up. They've printed more currency units than they should have, and now the feed costs more, to lease the land costs more, the water costs more, the medicine for the chickens costs more, everything, his costs have gone up, and he has to pass that on to the consumers, the people that eat the chicken, or else he cannot make a profit, right? Well, if you put a cap on that, eventually it's going to get to the point to where he can't make a profit anymore. So he can either pay people to eat chicken, or he can simply not produce any poultry, and at least he doesn't lose money. Not making anything, but at least he's not paying people to eat. And this is what the European Union is proposing to do. They're proposing to put a cap on gas prices in their 27 countries. Will this work? It has never worked throughout history. But why would they do this? I think the politicians, this is a guess, I don't know, but I believe the politicians want to feel like they're doing something to help the people. So they say, we'll put a cap on prices. Unfortunately, they don't look back at the history books and realize that this never ever works. Maybe it looks politically like they're trying to do something, but the reality is it's not doing anything at all. All right, so we'll go back to the story here. All right, so the EU countries, the cap is the 27-country EU's latest attempt to lower gas prices that have pushed energy bills higher and driven record high inflation this year after Russia cut off most of its gas deliveries to Europe. Yeah, well, when you sanction them, that's what they do. Okay, if we go down here, the TTF, what is that? Title transfer facility must also be 35 euros per megawatt hour higher than the reference base price on existing liquefied natural gas. Price assessments for 3 days. All right, there is one country that is basically saying no. Of course, Germany's not one of them. Germany voted to support the deal, despite having raised concerns about the policy's impact on Europe's ability to attract gas suppliers in price competitive global markets. Um, there's one other country down here. I thought it was Denmark. No, Hungary. Uh, Two EU officials said only Hungary voted against the price cap. There's two other countries that seem to have come to their senses. The Netherlands and Austria abstained, so they didn't vote. Both had resisted the cap during negotiations, fearing it could disrupt Europe's energy markets. Yeah, no kidding, and compromise Europe's energy security. So let me ask you this. If you produce gas and you can only sell it to Europe at this cap, or you can sell it to another country for something you can make a profit on, what are you going to do? So I think the result of this, if it actually goes through, is it'll fail. And in the meantime, instead of Europe getting some gas, but expensive gas, they will get no gas. All right. How can we prevent against this? You can start locking in your price on things that you know you're going to use anyways. I understand you can't store unless maybe you live out in the country and you got a big tank where you store your natural gas because you're not like hooked up to the city supply. Now's probably a pretty good time to fill that up. You know, if you heat your home with heating oil over the winter, start storing that stuff. Get a bigger tank. The price is not going to go down anytime soon. I hope you guys got something else out of this. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.